In this video, I'm going to be talking about loops. So I'm starting with a while loop. So what's a while loop? The while loop executes the instruction each time the condition is true. In other words, the loop evaluates the condition before the block of code is executed. So if after the evaluation, if the return was not true or the return is not true, it's not going to evaluate, it's going to move on to the next block. I notice this is getting more complicated, but let me quickly start with the while loop. I will first of all register a variable of I. I'll say integer I equal to 0. Then I'll come down here and say while, open and close parentheses, I'll say while I is less than 5. Then I'll come here and open and close curly brackets. So while I is less than 5, print I. Then I'll come down here and increment it and say I plus plus. So what did I just do? First of all, I registered an integer variable which I set the value to 0. Then I come down here to check if I is less than 5. Normally checking if 0 is less than 5. So I is equals to 0. We are checking if I is less than 5. So if that is true, we print I. Then we come down here to increment it. So after this incrementing, it goes up here again and add 1 to this. So this 0 change to 1. So it's going to be, it will run the code again. If 1 is less than 5, it's going to print I. So this is going to print from 0 to 4. When we run this code, we see we have 0 to 4. Then if at all I did not increment it here, it's going to return what is called infinite response, or let me say infinite. I will just call it infinite response, or let's say infinite loop. So what's that? What is this infinite loop? Once I clear this and run this code, it's going to keep repeating the instruction without stopping. So this can end up breaking your server, or this can end up breaking whatsoever we are working with. So when I try to run this code again, you see that it will keep writing the code again and again and again and again without stopping. So that is why we come down here to increment it. So I hope that that's understandable. But if you don't understand it, you can go through this again. You can do it on your own repeatedly until you get it. So for a quick recap again, I registered a variable of an integer which I set the value to 0. And I come down here and see if at all I is less than 5, which is if at all is 0 is less than 5, print I. Then now I then come down here to increment it and say I plus plus. That means I'm adding 1 to this I. So from here it goes up again to add 1 to here, which is this value here have changed to 1. So it's still saying while I, that means while 1 is less than 5, print I. So that's just it. That's all. In our next video, we'll be talking about a for loop, and that's a very big topic again. I can't wait to see you there. Thank you.